Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Star Trek. Starfleet Academy can solve 5 big mysteries left behind by other Star Trek series. Executive produced by Alex Kurtzman and Noga Landa. Star Trek. Starfleet Academy premieres Thursday, January 15, 2026, with 2 episodes on Paramount+. By virtue of being set after the end of Star Trek Discovery in the late 32nd century, Star Trek Starfleet Academy becomes the farthest continuous point in Star Trek's timeline. Starfleet Academy can reference the full 1,000 years of Star Trek's established canon. Star Trek Starfleet Academy has already teased that the cadets may learn about Captain Benjamin Sisko Avery Brooks and whether the emissary of the prophets ever returned, like he promised to at the end of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Of course, Star Trek Starfleet Academy is not Memory Alpha or Wikipedia. It's a television show introducing a slew of new and legacy characters, as well as telling an original story of mysteries and the villainous news broker Paul Giamatti threatening the United Federation of Planets. However, ancient and recent Star Trek history could be studied by Starfleet Academy's cadets, and Paramount Plus's newest Star Trek series could deliver answers to questions from Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Lower Decks, Star Trek Prodigy, and Star Trek Section 31. Star Trek Picard Season 3 ended with an intriguing post-credits scene where Q. John D. Lancey returned and transferred his fascination from Admiral Jean-Luc Picard Patrick Stewart to his son, Jack Crusher Ed Spellers. Q died at the end of Star Trek Picard Season 2, but the omnipotent being exists beyond mortal reason. Still, it's an open question as to how Q returned and what Jack Crusher's cosmic destiny is that involves Q. Fans hold out hope that the answers to Star Trek Picard's Q's cliffhanger, as well as the voyages of the USS Enterprise G commanded by Captain 7 of 9 Jerry Ryan, will still be depicted in Star Trek Legacy, either as a TV series or a possible feature film greenlit by Paramount Skydance. Star Trek Legacy remains the most requested new Star Trek project since Star Trek Picard Season 3's ending teased the future of the USS Enterprise G. Of course, fans would prefer for Captain 7's adventures to be fully realized and not just referenced on another show. Still, a callback to Star Trek Legacy in Star Trek Starfleet Academy would be welcome, even just to assure fans that Legacy did happen, and we just haven't seen it yet. A hint of what Q wanted with Jack Crusher would also pique the audience's curiosity, be a tiny reward for our patience, and set the stage for Star Trek Legacy, which fans hope is still to come. Star Trek Section 31 ended with Emperor Philippa Georgiou Michelle Yeoh becoming part of Alok Sahar's Omari Hardwick Section 31 Alpha team and being sent on a new mission by Control Jamie Lee Curtis. What happened next? What became of Emperor Georgiou and her new, permanent home in the early 24th century? Nothing is canonically known about Emperor Georgiou after Star Trek Section 31. Star Trek Section 31 did respectable streaming numbers despite being rejected by critics and Star Trek fans, but Paramount Skydance's new management isn't interested in more streaming movies, which means no Star Trek Section 31 sequel is coming. Unfortunately, Star Trek Section 31 marks the end of Emperor Georgiou's adventures, as the Mirror Universe's former ruler is now stranded in Star Trek's Lost Era. Nor can she return to the 32nd century, because Star Trek Discovery established that Philippa will die if she time travels again. Whether by Academy Award winner Michelle Yeoh making a surprise cameo or some kind of update to Emperor Georgiou's fate, Star Trek Starfleet Academy can confirm what eventually happened to redeemed and reformed Philippa after the events of Star Trek Section 31. Star Trek Prodigy Season 2's ending is tied to the backstory of Star Trek Picard, where, on First Contact Day in 2385, rogue synthetics attacked the Utopia Planitia fleet yards on Mars and set the Red Planet on fire, killing 92,000 souls. Star Trek's Mars attack of 2385 was a devastating blow to the United Federation of Planets, which pulled back within its borders, canceled the mission to rescue the Romulan people from their sun-going supernova, and ceased exploration of uncharted regions of the galaxy. In response, Admiral Catherine Janeway Kate Mulgrew assigned the young former crew of the USS Protostar to the brand-new USS Prodigy. Captain Gwendala Ella Purnell and her crew's mission was to travel beyond the Federation's borders and bring Starfleet's light to strange new worlds. Unfortunately, Netflix did not order Star Trek Prodigy Season 3, which leaves the voyages of the USS Prodigy an open question. Star Trek Starfleet Academy, a kindred series to Star Trek Prodigy, can deliver updates to what became of their 24th century predecessors. Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 opened up the exploration of the multiverse with aplomb. At the end of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, the USS Cerritos helped create a stable wormhole to the multiverse, not unlike the portal to the Gamma Quadrant in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Starbase 80, placed under the command of Captain Carol Freeman Don Lewis, docked to guard the multiverse wormhole, while the USS Anaxanar, led by Captain William Boimler Jack Quaid, commenced the exploration of alternate realities. Star Trek Lower Decks' ending teased the infinite possibilities of the multiverse, but the tragic discontinuation of Mike M.C. Mann's genius animated comedy left what became of Starbase 80 and the multiverse an open question that Star Trek Starfleet Academy can answer. Meanwhile, the USS Cerritos resumed its mission of second contact under its new leader, Captain Jack Ransom Jerry O'Connell, and co-first officers, Lieutenant Bradward Boimler Jack Quaid and Lieutenant Beckett Mariner Tawny Newsome. Happily, Tawny Newsome joined Star Trek Starfleet Academy as a writer and continuity cop. Fingers are crossed. Tawny worked in references to Star Trek Lower Decks and what became of the USS Cerritos in Star Trek Starfleet Academy Season 1. Star Trek Starfleet Academy is an immediate spin-off of Star Trek Discovery, which introduced the 32nd century incarnation of Starfleet's academic institution in Star Trek Discovery Season 4. At the end of Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Captain Michael Burnham Sonequa Martin Green reunited with her love, Cleveland Booker David Ajala, at Ambassador Saru's Doug Jones' wedding to Trina Tara Rosling, the Vulcan president of Nevar. Book then joined Captain Burnham when she was called back to the USS Discovery, which then jumped to its next mission. Yet audiences never found out what that mission is because there is no Star Trek Discovery Season 6. Presumably, Star Trek Starfleet Academy Season 1 happens concurrently or not long after the events of what would have been Star Trek Discovery Season 6. After all, USS Discovery crew members Lieutenant Sylvia Tilly Mary Wiseman and Commander Jet Reno Tig Notaro teach at Starfleet Academy. Star Trek Starfleet Academy is fans' best chance to find out what happened in what would have been Star Trek Discovery Season 6 and the whereabouts of Captain Burnham and the USS Discovery in Star Trek Starfleet Academy Season 2 and potentially future seasons if the show is a hit. The possibility remains for other Star Trek Discovery characters like Admiral Saru or even Captain Burnham herself to appear in Paramount Plus's newest Star Trek series. As Star Trek continues its renaissance on streaming, fans are already looking beyond Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks to what could come next, with the franchise boldly expanding again through animated spin-offs, legacy cameos, and potential cross-era stories. One thing is certain, there's still an entire galaxy of unanswered questions waiting for a show to explore. While many naturally hope for answers about Captain Benjamin Sisko's fate after Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the universe is filled with equally intriguing mysteries. These dangling threads have been left untouched for decades, offering prime material for a creative, thought-provoking new series. A future Star Trek show could finally shed light on these enigmas, deepening the lore, reconnecting with the franchise's past, and pushing the narrative frontier even further. Here are 5 of the biggest mysteries Star Trek's next show could solve. Beyond Sisko's celestial destiny. 1. What happened to the Borg after Star Trek Voyager? The destruction of the Transwarp hub in Star Trek Voyager's finale, Endgame, seemed to cripple the Borg collective. but the fate of one of Star Trek's greatest villains has remained vague ever since. Did the Queen truly die? Did the Borg adapt and rebuild elsewhere in the galaxy? Subsequent appearances have only deepened the mystery. Star Trek Picard Season 2 revealed a strange, hybrid version of the Borg led by a reformed Jurati, an evolution rather than an extinction. Meanwhile, Season 3 hinted that remnants of the original collective were still active, responsible for the assimilation of Starfleet officers through genetic manipulation. A new series could finally confront this fragmented reality. Perhaps the Borg are no longer one collective, but multiple, competing factions. Imagine a show where Starfleet must negotiate with one group of benevolent Borg while another prepares for a galactic invasion. It would be a chance to explore themes of identity, unity, and redemption, the very essence of Star Trek. Most importantly, it could answer whether assimilation can ever truly be undone. Could Seven of Nine's dream of a peaceful coexistence between humans and Borg finally come true? Or is resistance still futile? 2. Where did the Founders go after the Dominion War? The Dominion War reshaped the Alpha Quadrant forever. But after Odo rejoined the Great Link at the end of Deep Space Nine, the fate of the Founders and their empire became a mystery. Did Odo's return and his message of Solid's compassion truly change the Great Link? Or did the Dominion simply retreat, waiting for a chance to rise again? Star Trek Picard Season 3 gave us a glimpse of rogue Founders working against Starfleet. But these were splinter groups, bitter and vengeful, not representatives of the entire Dominion. A new series could finally reveal what became of the Great Link itself. Did Odo succeed in reforming his people, or did the Founders remain paranoid and isolationist? A post-war series might show the Federation cautiously opening diplomatic relations with a new, uncertain Dominion. Or perhaps the Founders have vanished entirely, leaving their subjects to rebuild on their own. This mystery is ripe for deep storytelling about forgiveness, evolution, and the long scars of war. Just as DS9 dealt with the cost of conflict, a new show could explore what peace really means when your enemies were once gods. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.